Like,
No, it's widescreen. I'm gonna sit right there. It's got both
you
of
in
them.
it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bet.
It's both of them.
Because one of us look a little better, so I'm glad they got options.
Yeah, well, you had me out here walking in the sweat. So it don't look like I'm in there, but I'm in there. I didn't notice it up. All right, it's Purchase Williams, Project Humanity. Hold up. Let's start that over. Fat and black, man. Tough one.
Curtis came outside with us today, man. He got experience of what knocking on doors looked like in Ward 5. So
Yeah, I did that, and again,
we had a good conversation out there with him.
we really did have a good conversation.
Shout out to Jim Hill alumni.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. She was a Jim Hillian. Project Humanity here with Ray McCants running for Ward 5,
Yes, sir.
Jackson, Mississippi. To me, I'm gonna have to apologize to Ray because I actually know Ray. We're in the same business. That's why I'm really excited about this conversation because he has not just a passion for mental health. He works directly in the field with our youth. And just to kind of touch base with what's going on in the city, let's talk city. I think we have a serious mental health problem in the city, especially with a lot of our youth. Depression, let's discuss that one. But I think it comes more from their parents being depressed. Like the lady we just spoke to a little while ago, how that neighborhood she lived in, that used to be where we went to see the Christmas lights. And she talked about how it's totally different today than it was 15 years ago. So when you take the jobs away from the city and the parents can't really be parents, can they? Then it comes down to the children. So if I got a depressed mom and dad at home, then I'm going to definitely have problems with my children. And Ray's in that business of helping those children overcome that, deal with those situations, and try and move forward. So as we move forward in Jackson, that's going to be a big thing to have somebody on the team who not only understands mental health, but is passionate about it. So having Ray running for council person, to me is like a blessing in disguise happening right now in real time to address the issues that we have. The younger people, you remember we discussed Dr. King being 26 years old when the movement started. He was killed at 39. I don't think we know that. I don't think we're looking at the pictures and saying he's 39, because I know I'm not. I'm looking at the pictures and he looks older than I do. So what we're doing now as far as talking about, do you have the experience needed to handle that seat? I think that experience has been our problem.
Okay.
People who say they experience, they've run businesses, they've done this and they've done that. Where has that gotten us? And we just talked to somebody who basically can say experience hasn't changed her neighborhood for the better. So what do you think about bringing your experience with mental health to the council and what effects that will have on the direction we need to head for the future?
Okay. Boy, that's a lot to address. All right, so
my bad. You want to start that up?
It's good. To kind of, I guess, summarize up what you were saying about me working in the mental health space. I feel like as anybody, we have natural biases. Whatever we're around the most, whatever impacts us the most is what we see first and what we want to fix first. So the thing about me and experiences with mental health is my problems might not, and behavioral health. I don't want to leave that aspect off, mental and behavioral health.
Now, what is the difference? I don't mean to cut you, but what's the difference?
So mental health is actually things that are going on with your psyche. So like anxiety and depression that can lead to behavioral health. That's maybe physically acting up, maybe yelling back.
Drug abuse.
At young people, drug abuse actions. Fighting, shooting, killing. Your behavior is not impacted from what you're doing. Some people don't have mental health issues directly as far as psychologically. They just act out based on the environments that they're a part of. So
I can understand
I guess to take that long answer and make it shorter. Mental health is your psyche, and behavioral tends to be affected by your environment. In Jackson, we have issues with both. We have environments that are depression. And if you live in a depression environment, then your mental and physical is affected.
That is true, definitely.
But what I feel like I bring is being open, and I observe a lot. So in my 6 years of being in the mental and behavioral health space, I've worked with different service organizations and built rapport with them to understand how they conduct services and what the services look like and what the people that need the services, what can be done better, how the city can better assist the services that have been provided, and the overall divide. So to kind of brag up on my history, I started as an entrepreneur. I had a brick and mortar lounge for 3 years, and then I started working with the radio station to get more in tune with the business spaces and business owners in Jackson.
Okay.
So I did that for 3-4 years, and then I came into the social services. Well, I still do marketing for small businesses, nonprofits, and organizations on my own independency. But overall, with Infusion Metro, my 9 to 5 is where I've been focused on behavior and mental health and advocating and marketing and outreach. So those all systems are divided. No, they don't really intertwine. So if you're in the business space, you're in the business space. If you're in the social service space, you're in the social service space. If you're not in either one of those, and whatever space that you fall into, we don't cross mingle those. So my goal, objective, is to listen to everybody and put everybody in the same room. So for about the past year or so, I've been wanting to get everybody in the same room. So I started the Briarwood Market and Mixer, and I was inviting people from the social service space, and that was me. The social service space and the business space. I started bringing in speakers just to try to bring everybody together. So that led me to run for city council because, when I wanted to talk to business, I became an account manager, sales manager for the radio station. So when I walked in, people were like, "Hey, it's Ray from 97.7. Can I talk to the manager or the owner?" Okay, cool. That's different than me walking in as a regular Joe and be like, "Hey, I'm Ray. Where the owner at?" And they like, "Ah, he busy. He ain't here. Why you want to speak to him? Can I help you with something?"
Right.
So I was able to get in rooms with the owners. And then when I came to social services with Infusion, I'm able to run a governance council, which is a council of social service and other community organizations that's doing the work. And I can bring them all in the same room.
So you really are passionate about making this change.
Yeah. But we're going to have to make it together. Can't nobody do it by themselves. And we're going to have to cut out some of these circles. And people use circles as a negative, but circles are natural. You're going to be around what you do and what so if you in the sports, you're going to be in the sports circle. If you in the, arts, you're going to be going to the art shows and the art museum. So
that's something I'm noticing about our younger candidates. You all seem to have an idea, and then you start something to make the change. Even though you're not in office, we need to do something about this, bring these people together, and you all stepped out into the arena. Whereas the only thing I'm hearing from the older candidates, nothing against them, because I think when they were younger, they probably were doing the same things. But when you get into a certain age, it's more like you're looking for people to grab who have good ideas. Your ideas are like my relationship with this person. I got a good relationship with this person. I know the governors and I know these people, but they don't have the ideas. So for me, looking at you guys, not only do you have the ideas, but you're willing to go out and get the people to build the relationships new. Not from a standpoint of we went to school together, we graduated, I met his cousin, or I've known him for 20 years. You guys are actually making the moves to make the things happen. So it's definitely different when I talk to the younger candidates, and that's why I'm supporting them, because they remind me of what we used to be when we were young. We were out there trying to do it. And I think at some point, even myself, to admit, I gave up on the trying, and it's sad to say, but I think that when we get to a certain age, around 40, 45, we start to lose that drive to build those bridges, unless we have to. And so I'm really impressed by you young folks who are out there already doing it and creating those spaces on your own without even running. Like I met Ray a year ago in this building talking about mental health. And I was trying to get them to come and do a podcast. Never made that happen, but it's good to sit down and talk to him today because I think we need that on the council. I think I haven't heard anybody else talk about it.
Yeah, it's between mental health, behavioral health, and education. It's been left out, I feel like, of the campaign series so far. But to address us not being able to get the podcast going, we service. We have 4 therapists. They all have tens of people on their caseloads, and we are intensive outpatient care.
Yeah, I'm not dogging you out.
I'm just saying.
I know you're busy.
So our therapists.
I know you're busy.
It's 6 hours out of their day.
Yeah.
It's working with our young people, and the other 2 hours is writing the notes.
And that can be exhausting.
In the system.
I know that can be exhausting because I've dealt with kids. I was a CASA worker in college, court appointed student advisor. And after class, I would have to go and sit with the kids and find out what's going on in your life so I could report to the court. It is exhausting.
It is. And I commend our therapists. I mean, whenever I speak on the program and everything that we've been able to do, we had over a 90% rate of where our youth don't return back to the facility in which they came, which across the nation has been astounding. We've actually spoke on a national level, on a national call about how we're able to get the organizations to send our youth and how we're able to get our youth to show up to the program and how we're able to be successful with our youth here in Jackson and Hinds County. So being able to take that and those experiences and kind of help communicate those out to the other people on the council and to the mayor's office of these are some things that work and these are some things that the people that's going through it are saying why they ended up in a situation. I mean, amongst them and a few other programs, the Living with Purpose program that was the life skills programs prior, the Strong Arms program. We work coincidentally with a lot of the not deterrence programs, but the programs that kind of deter the youth from returning back to
the recidivism rate down, keeping it down.
Yep.
I just tell you, man, I wish I was in Ward 5 and could throw a vote for you.
And I appreciate it. It's a lot of people in Ward 5 that's been seeing what's been going on.
Yeah.
A lot of people that have seen me in the past 12 years and stuff that I've done. I'm getting a lot of, I remember you.
Yeah.
You yourself, we sitting there talking to the resident. She said, dang, that was you. And that was a year ago.
Yeah.
So I've never been like drilling my name down people's throat. I just do the work.
You ain't looking for the award. You want the victory.
Yeah, I want everybody to get the victory. Even I got awards in my office right now that are infusion awards, if you ask me. So I leave them at the building. They're not sitting in my home office.
I understand.
But that's my thing, man. I've done a lot across the space, even in nightlife. When I had the lounge, and now the people that's in the big clubs now that everybody are going to, they first opportunity was at Uncle Ray's because I was a platform that people can come in. I always called it a trampoline. You come in, when you land, when you leave out of here, you're going to go further than what you came in at. And across the board. So it was like even with artists and a lot of things. We had artists get signed that was doing open mics. So it's a lot. In the businesses, I mean, since I had the marketing group, it's literally businesses that outgrew me. To where they was at a point to where they was comfortable, the business was stable at that level, and they didn't want to grow anymore. They said, Ray, we all right, so we appreciate you.
Well, they didn't want to grow anymore. Hold on, I don't hear businesses say that too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. You got to respect, because it's in business, you can get to a level, some people get in business to be comfortable, and that's okay.
I'm one of them.
And we work hard to get to that level of comfortability to where I ain't worried about bills. My family can travel how we need to.
I don't need to be a cajillion now. Right.
I don't need to go to where I got 10 more employees or that we got a popcorn factory where the popcorn is getting. I'm good. The family's straight. I'm paying for school.
I know.
Somebody else, I got my $500,000 house, and I drop Ashton Martin on Tuesday.
Close to retirement.
It's those situations where you go, I get you.
Okay.
So I've been able to, and then the systems that I use systems. So the systems that I put in place for them are still there.
Yeah.
So I guess to my own flaw, they were able to benefit from having that system to where they didn't need me no more, but it still works. And as long as they follow the system that was put in place, then they can continue to, at minimum, stay at their base level.
Well, you gave them what they asked for, right?
Yeah, and and I'm okay with that, man. That's as I grow, and it's like that's dope because I don't necessarily want to be in that same space. At this point, it's like, all right, I like that. Let me come give you a system. We're gonna practice this system for 2 years, and then you got it. And I can go help somebody else.
I probably should have had you up there helping me with my system in the podcast rather than trying to do it myself, not knowing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't know you had such a skill set. I just thought you were just the manager of this mental health facility guy and you went home every day. But look what you learn when you actually sit down and talk to somebody for a minute rather than the quick passing bys. So,
and I'm the marketing coordinator. I don't want to take nothing from our program director. Brittany Clark does an amazing job. So but the marketing coordinator makes sure the agency, we don't have marketing dollars, so most of our marketing and advertising energy goes to our referring sources, so they know that we exist, that they can get to us. Like some people in the public be like, I don't know how we never heard of y'all, but we only can get referred to from agencies to which. Well, so when people get released from different agencies, that's when they can come to Infusion because we're intensive outpatient. Okay. So they got to be in some form of inpatient facility to come to us. Okay. So that limits the amount of people that we can serve. But if you have a youth that's at risk, you can still call us. 769-233-7429. Excuse me.
Give them that again.
769-233-7429.
Okay. And that's in case you have a child that you need to find help for.
That's at risk of getting displaced out the home. So whether that's heavy in schools, heavy suspensions, they may be facing expulsion. If they are through and through with you to where the fact that y'all got to call the police to come and have a domestic situation at your homes, that's when you can call us. And we'll come in and do an assessment to see if they need intensive outpatient care. If not, we'll be able to refer them to an agency like Hines Behavioral Health Services to where they get less intensive care, but still have somebody to be able to work through the things with them.
Well, I'm going to tell you like that last lady we talked to said, Ray in mental health. Had nothing else to say to me. That's what she said, them her words.
Yeah.
And I think that really does speak volumes to where society knows we are right now. I think it's so many of us see that this is not just random stuff going on. We are really having a mental health crisis in this country.
And as you can attest, that wasn't from our conversations today. We had encountered each other in the past through the job. So that's just kind of to show how I've been doing the work. And like, we knocking on random doors. And she's like, hey, Ray. And I'm like, what's going on?
She's like, you ain't got to tell me nothing. You in mental health. I'm good.
Yeah.
And I think that I wish she would have let me record her saying that, but she was at home.
Yeah.
And,
people come to me.
You get home and you relaxing.
Yeah.
But that stuck out to me that she was excited that you're in the race because it says we need this kind of person in charge right now.
You know what's interesting? If I remember correctly, 6 years, 5, 6 years ago, I sat in her office, and she was like, well, Ray, you're not going to be here long because there's something bigger and better in store for you, and I can tell. And this is from maybe a 20-minute conversation in her office. So I know she was probably excited to see my posters up.
I bet she was.
And I kind of, it's a quote that somebody said, and it's when you're passionate about something and you pass up on money to be able to do it. Between Infusion, I love Infusion, but the check is a community mental health check. And then even with the city council seat, you're not making amazing money. However, I've been blessed. God always makes sure my paper's straight, so I ain't too much worried about it. I get a marketing contract here and there that kind of sets everything straight. And for the past 9 years, I ain't missed a bill. So.
Well, hey, God is taking care of you, sir. I'm gonna have to learn a lot from Ray. He's a younger man than me, but numerically. But again, I'm still to the point where I'm like, I'm learning. I only know what I've been introduced to, what I've been around, and my circle is not a vast circle. I won't sit here and say it is. I'm kind of a loner for the most part, limited friends. So I'm glad to meet people like Ray who have such a vast resume of knowledge, understanding opportunities that they've had, thrown out to them. I've been doing the same exact thing for over 10 years until I got here and started dabbing into the mental health with Project Humanity. So having somebody like Ray that's just as he's actually probably more involved in mental health, a lot more involved than I am. I'm excited to have somebody who understands what we really need in Jackson. Is not more, say, policing. We need the police. Like we were just talking about, one of the ways to get revenue is ticketing. But like I explained to a few more of the candidates, we understand what happened in the drug war and the government pushing that stuff into our communities. I would like to see more mental health coming from the government funding to take care of what they did. And people like Ray can help me get that explained a little bit better for Project Humanity, who's fighting for that. But having somebody who understands how to deal with it, I'm excited. I don't know about everybody else, but just to kind of know we're going to have somebody on the council who understands mental health and how we can not just police our people, but maybe help our police not have to deal with so many mental health issues. Creating, say, a task force, which is in part of my plan. I don't know if you ever read them, where we have the citizen policing, so to speak. So, say there's a problem, my neighbor's son is having an issue. Rather than calling the police, we call.
Well, we actually got a mobile crisis unit. And I hate that I don't have the number off the top of my head, because if I was fully engrossed, I
that through infusion.
So right now, Hines Behavioral Health is actually an agency that operates the mobile crisis response team. So if somebody's going through a mental illness episode, if you see somebody out on the street talking to themselves, it's a 24/7 response team, and they could come out and assess the situation. We also got, I'm waiting on this number to load up. We also have CIT officers, which is crisis interventions training. So if somebody's going through a mental health crisis, JPD now has, I think it's 19, and we got 30 in total if we count Capital. I might be wrong with the numbers, but CIT officers are trained to handle mental health situations. So if you call 911 and announce like, hey, we going through a schizophrenic episode, or this person is outside talking to themselves, or somebody's running around.
So they don't send the guns.
Well, the police carry their guns.
They don't come out like this. They come out maybe like this.
Yeah, hands up. So and then the number for the mobile crisis team, I'm mad I had it, and I just switched over. Is 601-955-6381. And that's increased stress, physical illness, problems at work or school. If you're having a situation where somebody's having a mental health episode, you can call that number, and the mobile crisis team is on the way. And when they pull up, they efficient. So
how long they been doing that?
Years, at least 6 years, probably if not more.
I see. How come we didn't know about that?
Well, they do their best to get the job out. The thing that I tell everybody is, don't nobody believe in advertising dollars and grants. So you get promotional item money, but you don't get advertising dollars and grants. And we do some grants do get some type of advertising dollars, but it's nowhere near the way to run it consistently. So you might get a month of radio, or a couple months, or a couple billboards for a month. But it's not an expensive advertising budget to just put the word out. So it's on us as citizens to be able to share that information around.
Well, what if we try to create a podcast that we can keep these informative numbers, the things that don't get the budget for marketing? We can create a space for them to come on and explain what they're doing and what they offer to the citizens that I had no idea that the guy I saw talking to himself 3 days ago on Northside Drive, I could have called a number and had someone come out to assist him. See, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. I mean, the podcast is cool too, but it still go about reaching the people and reaching the masses and people consuming it. Because also, if you don't see a person talking to themselves 3 days ago, are you thinking about it? So if you see it come across your face, which you may have, and you know, you never was like, that's relevant to me, you just bypass it. It's a lot of commercials that you've seen in your life, and the ones that ain't relevant to you, you can't recall.
That's true too. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, and when I do, it's usually a movie. But yeah, you're right. If it's not relevant to me, I'm dismissing it most of the time. I don't think but I'm big into mental health and trying to find ways to reach the people in different ways. But that's something I don't think I've heard of. I don't think I knew we had a crisis number that was designed for that. I don't think.
I mean, that's fair.
A lot of us might not have heard that.
Yeah, it's fair. And like I say, it's not a massive advertising budget. It might go into a radio ad here and there.
Would that be good for like a parent who has a kid who they can't really deal with?
And I would say a lot of the parents or individuals that have mental health individuals in their family or in their house know the mobile crisis number, and they know that mobile crisis exists. For the general person, they probably don't, but that go back into making sure that the people who are most at risk get the information with the limited amount of advertising dollars that you do. And then, like I said before, if it's relevant to you, it clicks and sticks. If it's not, it floats by. So
I'm gonna say to the people who might see this, my C-Spires, my Walmarts, my Amazons, you see what we need. Let's make some donations to these people for those specific purposes. You want to bring jobs to a city, we have to have a way to reach the people who need the help so that we can actually get a control of the crime. Get a control of these mental health issues that are keeping us over policing with the crime rates being high. That's the thing where I'm like, I see these big companies donating money to this, and this, but those things don't really help as much as I think those, millions of dollars could go to smaller groups.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times those donations of millions of dollars are top heavy by the time it's like a funnel system.
Right.
So by the time it gets to the ground level, it's not millions of dollars. Even if it is, it started at hundreds. So that's a system in itself that has to be addressed. But you're right. If they wanted to give it to the ground directly, then there's that. But that's a systematic problem that's larger than us doing the work.
I'm the kind of person who will say, "Hey, you see this, you hear this, change the way you're donating."
True.
It's not like you just don't have the money. We just have to direct it to the right places. Please, does please help? Because for me not to know that number in a place like Jackson should be on the screen daily. This is, daily. Secondly, it should be across the bottom of the screen all day, letting us know that there is a option for our people to get help. And I think that we're spending a whole lot of money on nonprofits. Like you said, it's top heavy, and by the time it gets to where it needs to go, well, we only have enough to run 2 radio ads because this person made $300,000, $400,000 salary, but they're a nonprofit. Well, again, everybody's not in this to help, and I don't think a lot of people know that. A lot of people took the nonprofit road because it's a way to avoid taxes. Let's just be honest. We have a lot of that going on. The state auditor will tell you. So for me, accountability is calling out people.
Yeah, but also When I say the bigger systematic problem, I just meant that it's larger than the state or Mississippi or Hinds County or Jackson.
Yeah, I know it's that big, but it got to be fixed somewhere.
Yeah, but that's what I said. We had to fix it on a national level, because when you talk about that level of funding, you're talking on a national scale. They're not giving that to any, county entity at that point. That's
C-Spire is local.
Yeah, but when C-Spire donates, they're donating to the Kellogg Foundations, the United Way. They're not donating to Hinds Behavioral Health, and then United Way and Kellogg. And
but that's why I said, why don't we change that? Why don't we say that to them?
Yeah,
hey, I know you're donating the United Way. I know that, but target certain places. Let's quit just giving the big check here because we needed to make a $3 million donation.
Mm-hmm.
Take that $3 million and break it up into some smaller,
okay, I got you.
More useful organizations. It's still $3 million, but these organizations, I'm hoping and praying, will put the funds toward better use.
Mm-hmm. It's a smaller funnel.
Yeah,
get to the people faster.
Right, and that's where the change comes. Right.
True.
If we can get those dollars down to the ground level and start funneling those, funding those places like what Ray's doing, helping the kids with mental health. Imagine if they had a budget for advertising like the United Way does.
Yeah, the impact would be crazy.
Right. Change would actually come. But if we just keep donating to the same places we always been doing, like, I hate to bring it up, but how much money was misused by the Red Cross during the hurricanes?
Mm-hmm.
They said that Haiti got 7 houses built, donated billions of dollars, 300 million, I think. I ain't gonna say billions, but I think it was like 300 million, and they built 7 houses. Because by the time it got down there, we have to do better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trillions of dollars across the board, profits that companies are reporting. We're making this much money. I'm just asking the companies to care a little more,
mm-hmm.
to do a little more.
Oh, definitely.
Care a little bit more to say, hey, instead of us stopping here at this big company, let's see what we can do on the ground level.
Oh, definitely.
Let's see if we can touch their base.
Well, I appreciate it. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, share.
Yeah. Project Humanity, you're going to see it posted. I'm going to actually send it straight to you, so you will have it directly.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is about us getting out the message. This ain't about me getting likes and shares. Plus, they'll probably give you more.
Comment, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching this video this far. I appreciate you for having me.
Hey, man, thank you for the time, and don't forget, I'm a little dirty. He had me out here walking, y'all.
Hey,
we out here knocking on doors.
He wanted to see what the life was like. So we've been at this for 3 months now.
Hey,
so
it's real out here.
He got 1 day in the game. He huffing and puffing, y'all.
Well, he picked the hottest, most humid days.
This was probably the coolest day of campaigning, and the other candidates could tell you.
For him.
It was 80 degrees today. It's cloudy.
I'm fat and black, and it's humid out here, y'all. We in Mississippi. But again, it was a great day today. I'm glad the persons we did see talked.
Yeah.
And I'll say it again, like the last lady. He in mental health. Excited to have him running. I wish I was in Ward 5 and could vote for you, brother, because we need that kind of mindset to move Jackson forward right now.
Appreciate that. And I'm asking you guys for y'all vote on June 3rd. Go to the polls, Ward 5. Vote Ray McCants for your Definitely. Ward 5 City Councilman. Thank y'all much, and look forward to being at that seat representing the whole entire ward. Thank y'all.
Right. Purse Williams, Project Humanity.
Ray McCants, City Council candidate, Ward 5.
Great one, man.